Okay. Hopefully that will work. Is it working? It says it's recording. Do we, okay, where's that? Is that it? Okay, yeah, they can hear me. Perfect. So screen share, screen share. All right, so there's 4 of you here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, we are good. I think it is recording us, so we should be where we need to be. I am sorry that the first round didn't work. Okay. If you are at home, or you guys that are here, we're going to go to our courses to geometry. Now, you guys, I hid everything, okay? Because yesterday so many people were getting lost with all the different places you can go. You should only be able to see these things right here, okay? So when you go to your class for me, the only thing I really need you touching is modules. Everything is going to be in modules. So don't worry about having to go to quizzes or assignments or any of those things. Everything's going to be under modules. Then you're going to see it by the day. Okay, so today is September the 1st. So we're clicking on that. Now it says it's worth 0 points, which obviously is not true, but I'm doing my grades in JCampus. So there's no reason for me to put points in Canvas when I have to do my grades in JCampus. Okay, so when you come into this assignment, it tells you that we're going to be Zooming. That's what we're doing right now. Now, I'm an administrator, so it will not let me see this, but if one of you was to log in, you're going to log in with your @mycatoschools.org. It will sync up with your school email. Okay, so do that first. Then you can see your assignment. Once you can see the assignment, then you can, well, you click open the assignment. Once you open the assignment, then you can add files. That's where you submit your homework. Okay, add the files. Like if you're working on a piece of paper right here, you can just take a picture of it. Then you can submit that to me there. They want us to take no paper this year. Okay, so you're not going to give me paper and I'm not going to give paper to you. Everything is going to be paperless. That's the goal. Okay, so hopefully you can figure that out. I did have a couple people email me their homework, which is fine, but you guys, I'm not joking when I tell you I got 50 emails yesterday from students only. Okay, so there's just literally no way I can keep up with who emailed me their homework and who did not email me their homework. So if you do email me your homework, I'm probably going to send back to you like, that's great, awesome, but please go submit this to Canvas. And then I kind of give you some steps to submit to Canvas. I'm not taking off late points at this point. I know everybody's struggling with their internet, electricity, all of those things. We'll start doing late points next week or whenever everything calms down, okay? Any other questions before we rock and roll? Okay, so I am going to be working on my Elmo. You should be able to see that on the screen. All right. So I have the notes printed out. That's the homework. Somewhere. Oh, here they are. All right. Okay, so these are our notes for today. This is what we're going to be working on. We will kind of skip through some things. There's some that's got just more practice than what we need. I want to be able to give you some time this period to work on your homework. So we're just going to kind of go over it, make sure you have an understanding. Ask questions, stop me if you need to. If you guys are zooming in and you have a question, just unmute yourself and I will answer those questions as we can. All right, so today is 9-1. And if you're taking your notes on just like a loose leaf sheet of paper, I don't expect you to like carbon copy this and write every single thing down, but just like the high points to make sure that you're understanding, and then definitely like the algebraic part of this, okay? All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is measuring segments. The distance between 2 points, A and B, can be written as, let me get my notes so I don't mess this up. Okay, we can write it as the length of segment AB. If it has that bar on top of it, that means that it is a segment. Or we can simply just write it as AB with no bar. If you just write those two letters right there beside each other, that is telling you that you are looking for the distance between AB, not the segment, not the line, not the ray, just the distance between those 2 points. So like if you look at your example over here, it's got capital A, capital B. That wants the distance between A, B. So how would we find, or what is the distance between A and B? It's 4 spaces, and that's exactly how I do it too. Like I look at it and I think, okay, 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space. So that's 4 units in length. But there is a way that you can do it mathematically. If you're trying to find something that's like giant, you know, that you can't just simply count out the spaces, take the greatest of the numbers, whether it's positive or negative, doesn't matter. Take the greatest of the numbers, which in this case is 3, and subtract out the smaller number, which in this case is -1. So then we have 3 minus -1. Minus a negative is the same thing as plus. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So that's how you could find the distance of something if you can't simply just count it out. But what I need you to know is that if they write it without something on top, they're looking for the distance, okay? Congruent segments. If AB, the distance between AB, is equal to the distance between CD. Okay, so if they are equal to each other, then the segments are congruent. This is written as segment AB. I'm going to show that it's a segment by putting the bar on top of it. Congruent symbol is like an equal sign with a wave on top, and then CD with a bar on top. So if the distances are congruent, then the segments are congruent, and vice versa. If they tell you that the segments are congruent, then you know the distance is congruent. So if we look at this example, the distance between A and B we know is 4. The distance between C and D is also 4. You could count it out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you could do, like I said, do your subtraction. The greatest of these numbers is -1 minus -5. Minus a negative is the same thing as plus. -1 plus 5 equals 4. The distance is 4. Okay, now all of that for us to be able to get to the segment addition postulate. That's what we're looking for. In geometry, you guys, you are going to learn more rules than you want, I promise. So many rules, so many different things about segments, circles, everything. So we call them postulates, or we call them theorems, we call them rules. They have lots of different names. But postulate basically means it's a rule. It's going to work every single time. What it's saying is that if A, B, and C are collinear points, then B is between A and C, because remember we learned this yesterday. Collinear means they are going to be on the same line. And B is between those points, then we can write that expression as AB, the small portion, plus BC, the other small portion, is going to equal what? This little portion plus this little portion is going to equal the whole thing, AC. And you don't put ABC, you just do AC. So the distance between AB, let's just say it's 2. The distance between BC we'll say is 4. If this is 2 and this is 4, what's the entire thing? 6. Make sense? That's the postulate. So we're going to start out with some basic examples, like I just said, and then we'll get into some more algebraic expressions, practicing what you already know about algebra. So if we look at the first one, it says, use the diagram below for questions 1 and 2. So PQ equals 9. So that means this is 9. And QR equals 28. They want you to find PR. Well, what would you do? Easy. You add them together. What is 9 plus 28? Bingo. So the distance between PR is 37. Now, I'm going to change colors. QR, okay, is 17. QR is 17, but PR, the whole thing, that's a horrible little like squiggle, but you get the point, is 21. And they want you to find PQ, this missing piece right here. How would we do it? You subtract. Easy. So what is 21 minus 17? All right. So everyone gets that, okay? Everybody in this class is honors. You guys are smart. That's easy, okay? But if we look at this down here, now we have some expressions. So if we look at this, it says if EG is 71, okay? EG is 71. That's the entire segment. Find the value of X, okay? So how are we going to find the value of X? You know, this segment's this, and this segment's this. What could you do with these two things? Combine them. So you're adding them together because that would give you your entire segment. And what does the entire segment equal? 71. So now you have a basic algebraic expression. Now, I don't know where everybody's at on their how well you can solve, so I'm going to break this down and make this as simple as I can. I'm going to draw my equal street, okay? On this side of the equation, I have like terms. These are like terms. They have the same x. 8x plus 5x gives me 13x, right? Okay, and then I have negative 17 and negative 3. That's going to give me, bring down 71. So I've simplified that left-hand side, and now I'm going to solve. What do I do next? Add 20 on both sides, doing the opposite operation. 13x equals 91. Divide by 13. What's x equal? 7. Did we answer the question? What did the question say? Did we find the value of x? Beautiful.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, over here on number 4. Number 4, they told us TV. The distance TV, again, that's the entire thing, is 14x minus 8. Remember, that's just an expression to represent a value, okay? And then we know that TU is 9x plus 2, and we know that UV is 5. So this plus 5 equals that expression. So can we write an equation? Yep. We can write 9x plus 2 plus 5. So that's this small section TU plus the teeny section UV, and it equals the entire distance, which is 14x minus 8. Before we can find the distance between TU, we have to find x. That's what we are doing right now. I'm going to solve this one just a little bit quicker, adding my like terms. Then I'm going to subtract 14x. I'm going to subtract 7. So that gives me what, negative 5 or 3? What is it? It's 3, negative 3. x, or no? You mean the final answer. I got you. So negative 5x equals negative 15. Now I'm back on track. Divide by negative 5, so x equals 3. Sorry. X equals 3. Now, is that our answer? That didn't ask for x, it asked for TU. So how am I going to get TU? That's right. You got to plug in x into the expression. So we're going to do 9 times 3 plus 2. What's 9 times 3? 27 plus 2 is 29. So the distance between TU is, 29. And y'all make sure that you can see what's on that screen, because if you can't see it, they definitely can't see it virtually. All right. How you feeling? Good? Easy? Pretty good? Okay, I'm just going to kind of talk about the ones below. I'm not actually going to work those out. If we look at number 5, JL, the distance JL is 5x plus 2, and they want us to find that. So basically, you're going through the same process that we did on number 4. First of all, you got to find for x. But then what you would do is, instead of plugging x in here, you just plug x into that expression. Okay? Number 6. On number 6, they give you the distance CE as an expression, and they want you to find x. Well, basically, you just have a big equation, because you've got x plus 3 plus 8x minus 9 equals 7x plus 4. So you just have lots of x's, but again, just combine your like terms, solve for x, you got it. Okay? Awesome. We are rocking and rolling. Page 2 of your notes. See, if I was doing this on Kimi, there's no way I could do it this quick. Like, I'm just not as good on a computer as I am with just like writing. So that's why for me, it's a struggle, and I still like to have a paper copy. But it's totally up to you. You just can't give me your paper copies. You still have to turn everything in online. But like I said, just take a picture with your cell phone and submit it as a file. Okay. All right. Now, number 7, it has a lot of different things going on, a lot of different parts, but you're still doing the same thing. It tells us that the distance between SK is 13x minus 5. The distance between KY is 2x plus 9. The entire distance is 36 minus x. So we just need to write that really large equation. So 13x minus 5 is the first thing, plus KY, which is 2x plus 9, equals the entire distance SY, which is 36 minus x. All right, so then we begin solving. If we focus on the left-hand side first and simplify, you can combine your like terms. 13x and 2x is going to give me, that's right, 15x. Negative 5 plus 9 gives me 4. 36 minus x. Then I'm going to get my x's together by adding x to both sides. That's going to give me 16x. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, and that's going to give me 32. 16x equals 32. So what's x? Divide by 16. X equals 2. So that's our x. Now, how do we find each of those pieces? That's right, we just plug them in. SK is 13x minus 5, so that'd be 13 times 2 minus 5. What's 13 times 2? 26. 26 minus 5 is, which you should all know and cherish, that is my favorite number. At some point this year, there'll be a bonus question that says, what's Miss Cole's favorite number? It's 21. My favorite number is 21. It's what my number was in sports. And I was a stud. Not really. It's definitely not. All right, K. Definitely not. All right, the distance between KY, you got to plug in your 2. 2 times 2 plus 9. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 9 is 13. The distance between SY is 36 minus 2, which is 34. Everybody happy with that? Easy. I love it when school's easy. It won't always be this way. So I got to start with something to win you over. So you're like, oh, I like her. So when I'm like, teach you proofs, she can be like, I like her as a person, but her class sucks. And I'm okay with it. It's fine. Proofs are not fun, but we're going to get through it. Have anybody done any proofs? Surely not. It's a geometry thing. It's okay. It's going to be fun. All right. The midpoint. The midpoint of a segment is a point that divides the segment into two congruent segments. Two congruent segments. So if you have a midpoint, your two segments are going to be congruent. And they note that by on your example, down here, you see these little tiny marks? Anytime you see those little hash marks right there, they're showing you congruency. So if they have that there, then you know that those are going to be congruent. It says a line, ray, or segment that intersects the segment at the midpoint is said to bisect. Think about a bicycle. Okay, bicycle has two wheels. If you bisect something, you cut it in half, two equal parts. The segment is called the segment bisector. Now that could be a line, a ray, or a segment. If you look at our example right here, since AB is congruent to BC, you know that B is the midpoint because they're congruent. And this line that runs through them would be your segment bisector. All right, in the diagram to the left, what we just talked about, who is the midpoint? B.
Teachers, that is the tardy bell. It's not the bell to start taking lunch shift.
That means B, okay? Is the midpoint of what segment? AC, and it is a segment, so you put the bar on the top of it. We're not talking about the distance, we're talking about the segment. And line what? L, line L is a segment bisector, like a bicycle, of segment AC. Okay, yay. So this is very similar to what we were doing, except for in the fact that we don't know the distance of the entire segment. Like I don't know what the distance is between P and R. What I do know is that this little segment is 7x minus 16, and this little segment is 4x plus 2. But what else do I know about this expression? Q is the midpoint. If Q is the midpoint, what do you know about those two segments? They're congruent. If these two segments are congruent, then I can set them equal to each other because they are congruent, right? Now, solve for x. Just like you're in Algebra 1. I'm going to subtract 4x. That gives me 3x. I'm going to add 16. That gives me 18. Divide by 3. X equals 6. Did we answer the question? Yep, we did. They want to know what is x. We got x. Number 9. 9 says, if h is the midpoint of GI, find GH. So they want us to find the specific measurement of GH. How are we going to do that? Solve for x, and then plug it back in. You got it. I'm not going to talk that one out. I'm going to let you do it. So you can see I got 3 as my x. Did you get 3 as your x? Now that I have my x, I plug it back in to GH expression, which is going to be 15 plus 2, which is 17. So the distance between GH is 17. Remember, to show distance, I just write GH. I don't put a bar over it or anything. That's showing you the distance. Good. Let's skip to number 11. Okay, so if we look at number 11, it says G is the midpoint of this expression, and it gives us this expression here. So this expression has a y, and they want us to find y. That's our ultimate goal. But if I take this and add this and set it equal to y, then I have 2 variables. I've got x's and y's, so I can't do that. So what's the first thing that I'm going to do right here? What you gonna? Is that your hand up? Do you know? What do y'all think? What do you think? Solve for x first, then plug it in. That's right. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to solve for x first. Okay. Let me put that there so they can see. I always go to the left. You don't have to do that. That's just, I've been doing this for like 12 years now. So it's just a habit that I have, because ACT will always have your X on the left-hand side. So I just like for my problems to work that way and just naturally say X equals 5. Okay, now we have X, so then we can take that X and we can plug it in. We've got to plug it in both spots, because we need to know what the entire expression equals. Now, actually, that's false. Do we have to do it twice? Because they're going to be congruent. So whatever this one is, this one's going to be the same thing, okay? But since I wrote it out, I'll go ahead. So that's 23. 35 minus 12. So no one should be surprised by that. It was the midpoint, so you know both of those are going to be the same. So add those together. What is the distance between H and F? FH? 46. That's the distance between those. Now that we have the distance between those, now we can solve for y. So 6y minus 2 equals 46. Add 2. 6y equals 48. I'm like, what? Divided by 6, y equals 8. Questions? Okay, like I said, your assignment is on that module. So go to the module, go to today's date. You will see a Google assignment. Sync your Google up, okay, if you haven't done that already. Then you can work out your work on a piece of paper. You can work it out on this if you printed it out. You can take a picture of it and you can submit. Or you can use Kami. If you like Kami and you have figured it out, you're more than welcome to do that, but you still have to show all of your work. So that's what would get me. It would be hard for me to show all of these steps in Kami, but I've had students do it and their work looks great. So it's up to you, whatever you're most comfortable with. Anybody have questions? Are my Zoom people still with us, or did I lose them again?
We're here.
Yay, it worked. Okay, anybody on Zoom have questions?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Could you just show the first 3 things on the first page? I wasn't able to join.
Oh, yeah,
First.
sure. The like notes part of it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Isn't it-
thank you.
Isn't it odd that we don't know who that is? And my geometry classes are all like linked together because I messed up my settings. And so it could be anybody in any of my classes. So it's not 4th hour. This is literally all of my geometry classes. Remember that when you like logged back on and everything was gone that you did? I like put all my classes together because I thought that would make my life easier. Oh my gosh, now when I grade, it's like alphabetical. So like I have to go and grade all of y'all's stuff, but it's not 1st hour, 2nd hour. It's like literally 140 kids. Oh my gosh. And I don't know how to undo it. So that's what I was thinking. If I do undo it, then it's going to start back over again.
Literally, when I did it in Canvas, it said that all my assignments like weren't done. And then like whenever I emailed the teacher, she was like, "Oh, it says you're done." So I just like redid all my assignments.
We don't know what we're doing. All right, everybody good? Because I'm going to stop this so I can be done with that. Okay. Stop share. End.